Hello and welcome to Simply Carrington. I am Carrington, a stay at home mom to one with one on the way. Do you ever have those weeks where you just can't seem to stay on top of it? Because that's definitely where I was this week. For example, I started this loaf of sourdough and got one of the loaves cooked, and the other one I left for days in the fridge just over fermenting. And luckily, I was able to turn it into some focaccia for a small group we had a couple nights ago. But again, I just couldn't seem to stay on top of anything. Every time I turned around, the kitchen was a mess again. And I know that's my own fault, but I really feel like I can never figure out how to keep it from happening again. Something I have so enjoyed about these days is just learning to enjoy these small moments when we're all in the kitchen together, just like living a little life. My husband was playing with his little jalapeno popper things and letting our son feed him to him. It was so cute, and it was just so fun to have him there. It really breaks up the monotony of doing kitchen things when they're there. And I typically do have one little helper, but my husband doesn't always get to be involved. With all of the snow and weather we've had recently, it just feels like the snow gear piles up in this catch all area of our house. So I was trying to get it all put back away. I know it will explode again, but it does have to be done. You have to put it away. Right around this point, I found out my mom was planning to come stay with us this weekend to help my little sister move into her house. And so such began the panic clean. I don't know if you panic clean when your mom is coming to town, but definitely my mom clean is very different than my everyday clean. And I only had 24 hours before she showed up. I love an impromptu visit from my mom because if nothing else, I know that I will get my house way cleaner than I would ever do it on a normal basis. And there's something about that that's refreshing, even if it does come with a little bit of stress. And my mom is always so helpful when she's here. So it's always fun to have her around. Welcome to the real life mess. This is all of the random stuff that I was just accumulating around the house. And I find that sometimes if I just take it all to one place, I can kind of whittle it down from there. And it's an easier task than if I try and move through the same spot 15 times to get every little thing out. And instead just compile and go from there. Even when it's in one place, as I watched back these moments, I realized that I still move around a lot and go to the same place several times instead of taking a big load to one spot. My mom's motto was always never put down, always put away, and I'm trying to implement that a bit more in our life. Something that I found to be very helpful for our family is to pre-wash all of the berries and fruit and keep it in little containers in our fridge for easy access. This has allowed us to go for that as a snack more than choosing a more processed option or kind of wandering aimlessly as we look for something to eat. Another plus to this is that the bowls of berries look really sweet in a fridge, and I'm always looking for those tiny moments of just joy throughout the day. It's always kind of fun to see how much you can get done during the 2-hour nap period that your children take. I know that that won't be forever, but right now, I really count on that time to be able to get things done that are a little bit harder to do when he's awake. Sometimes that just looks like doing all of the leftover laundry and kitchen tasks, and other times that looks like getting to do a fun project that's just not very realistic to do with an awake child. I have a friend that has convinced me that I can get back into sewing, so that's my goal over the next few weeks during nap times. My first project is going to be a toddler duvet cover because I have a friend who was looking for a very specific one for her child's bed and couldn't find exactly what she was looking for, and I told her that I would try and help her make one. It seemed like a good project to kind of get back into the swing of sewing. I really haven't sewn much at all in the last maybe 5 years. I sewed a lot as a young adult and then kind of gave it up as I got older. And honestly, when I moved out of my parents' home, I didn't have access to a sewing machine anymore. So I just very recently was able to go out and buy my own again and some fun fabrics. I have another project that I'm really excited about that will come up after that, and we will see how those go. I'm pretty excited. We've been really into simmer pots over the last few weeks, trying to get my house to smell just lovely and inviting. Even after I've turned off the stove, it still smells so wonderful in our house because of the simmer pot. I've been doing a lot of oranges and cinnamon and vanilla in the water. I did apples one day. Sometimes it's just cinnamon and vanilla if I don't have any fruit that's near going bad. And you can kind of do whatever seems right in the moment. It's kind of a fun little adventure. To me, there's nothing worse than being ready for bed and coming back and the sheets being tangled up. I don't know if that's everybody or just a weird quirk of mine, but I will do anything to get to making my bed during the day. Even if it's the last thing I do, it's going to be made before I get in there. I'm so thankful to be able to be home and raising our son and doing these little homemaking tasks throughout the day. It's such a blessing and honor to be able to serve my family in this way. As silly as it sounds, it's just really fulfilling to me, and I'm very grateful. As we approached dinner time, I realized we had these pretty ugly looking sweet potatoes that needed to be cooked before it was too late. So I kind of planned a meal that would incorporate these as well as some other foods we had available. I actually accidentally cooked ribeyes that I probably should have saved for a bigger occasion. I didn't really think about them being ribeyes because they were just called rib steaks in our freezer, and that was confusing to me. I decided to go ahead and cook up a few pounds of ground beef as well, just to keep in the fridge. And I'm really glad I did because my son seemed to prefer that over the steaks we were having for dinner, and so we were able to give him some of those. and keep that easy for him. We are what you would refer to as an ingredients household, so it's very rare that we have things that are truly pre-made. And as much as I love that, it is always interesting to see what I come up with for dinner. We had this bone marrow butter that I had made a few days ago with some bones from our freezer and just had added to butter. And I decided that that would be a good way to incorporate some of that awesome marrow into our meal by adding it to the top of our steaks. Although most of our meals are simple, just some kind of carb, a meat, and a veggie, I am really grateful that I'm starting to learn a few more skills and make these meals just a little bit different than chicken and rice every night. My poor husband did suffer through that for several years, it feels like, and I think he is grateful that that's not the case these days. We do try to eat quite high protein and tend to feel a lot better when we do. So I'm really grateful that we have access to all of the meat that we have, and it's been really cool to experiment with different ways to cook it. It was great to get dinner done at a reasonable time today. Sometimes it seems that as hard as I try, dinner is just not ready when I need it to be and isn't done until it's really time for my son to be asleep. We love being able to sit down and eat together as a family, and as this night drew to a close, we were just loving each other's company, and my husband was home and getting to play with our son, and I know that's his favorite part of the day. Despite much of the mess and the general oddness of trying to get a house prepared as your mom comes into town, I really enjoyed getting to get some of this stuff done throughout the week, and it's been fun to sort of romanticize these moments of my life and enjoy them with my family in a way that I haven't every day or every week. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you soon on Simply Carrington.